Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Riz's Tech Tutorials. So in today's video we're going to be covering how to set up a Raspberry Pi with Ubuntu server completely headless. So it doesn't really matter which model you have, but I have model 4 here. This one has 8 gigs of RAM, which is like the highest you can get, and like mine's in a case, like as you can tell, and you don't need a case, but it can definitely help with like things like airflow. But I'm not gonna stall, just gonna get straight into it. Just one thing before we start: if you enjoy the video or if it helps you, make sure to like and subscribe, because I have many more videos planned for Raspberry Pi. So in terms of what you need, you're gonna need a computer to edit the Raspberry Pi's files on, or to like flash the operating system. You're obviously gonna need a micro SD card. It doesn't really matter too much how much storage, but like I'd say minimum 32. Like I have 128 gig one here, but that's just because I'm a bit overkill. Alright, so you're also going to need a micro SD card reader. It's because that's how you're going to read it on your computer. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? Okay guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and plug your micro SD card into your computer. Okay, So here's what you're gonna want to go ahead and do. You're gonna want to go to your search bar and then search Raspberry Pi image or Raspberry Pi OS. Now, like I said, we're going to be using Ubuntu server, but this is just how we're going to flash it to the micro SD card. So go ahead and choose whichever one you're using, and we'll save this to my downloads. Once you've downloaded the file, go ahead and run it. It should, make sure to click yes when asking if you want to allow. So install, just keep clicking next, and it should be done, and then hit finish. It might take a bit longer for you, but it depends on your internet connection. So choose device. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and select which device you have. So there's Raspberry Pi 4, which is the one I have, which is Raspberry Pi 4 Model B. 400 is basically it's like a keyboard with the Raspberry Pi built in, and compute modules are just something else. The Raspberry Pi 5 is the new one, but it's really new, so if you get your hands on that, it's quite rare. And then 0TW, so we're gonna click 4. So the operating system, like I said, we're gonna be using Ubuntu server, other general purpose OS, and then you want to go ahead and click Ubuntu, and then you're gonna want to click Ubuntu server. Now there's two options here: Ubuntu server 32 and Ubuntu server 64. If you have the 2GB version of the Raspberry Pi, go ahead and click 32-bit. But if you have 4GB or over, click 64-bit. So obviously I have the model with 8GB. And then choose storage. So you're gonna want to go ahead and click that. And then wherever you have your SD card, so like there 124, so I know that's pretty much 128 gigs. So that's it. Before you go ahead and click next, you're gonna want to go ahead and click Windows X. Oh no, sorry, Control X, was it? No, just click Edit Settings. Okay, so immediately the first thing you want to do is change this. Okay, so I've gone ahead and changed my username because it was my name before, but you want to check this and set your username. So my username is going to be Ubuntu. For the purposes of this video, we'll say my password is 1234, and that's pretty much it. Obviously I'm not going to make that my password. We're gonna okay. Next, go ahead and click set hostname, and we're going to change this to whatever. So obviously this depends on what you want to change it to. I'm just going to change it to Pi. This is going to help us like detect the device later. If you're going to plug an Ethernet device in, don't bother with it, like an Ethernet cable. So don't bother with this. But if you're not planning on doing that, go ahead and check this and then put this in. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my Wi-Fi details. So just like a word of advice, when you're putting in your password in here, just make sure it's right. Like triple check it, because if you do this wrong, it's like a really long process to get this done properly after that. And then set locale settings. I'm near London, so we're going to put that. Keyboard layout, this doesn't really matter because we're going to be running it headless, so GB is fine. Right, next, services. We are going to enable SSH, which is how we are going to connect to the device. For objects, options, sorry, I'm gonna make play sounds just so I know it's done. I'm gonna go ahead and click save. Then make sure, just click edit settings again, just make sure everything's connected, save. Then hit yes, I would like to apply these. Make sure you have nothing on this micro SD card, because once it's wiped, you can't do anything about it. So I know it's literally a new SD card, I haven't used it yet. I'm gonna go ahead and click yes. So I'll be back once it's done. Okay guys, it's ready. It says the Ubuntu server has been written to the device, so you can just remove it. So click continue, and we'll go ahead and close this. So you're gonna want to go ahead and open File Explorer. Go ahead and unplug the device, and then plug it in again. Okay. Okay, so you'll see there's loads of files in here. So this is all like the operating system files. There's a readme file here as well if you want to go ahead and look at that. So if you want, you can just read through this. It just tells you about it just talks to you about where all of this stuff is located and like what it does. The thing we're going to do now is just plug this SD card into the... Okay, so just take your micro SD card out the reader, plug it into your Raspberry Pi. Also, just like a word of advice, if you have a case on, like what I normally have, so I have like this thing that just goes on the case like that, and like you have to pull the SD card out. So twice while I was taking this out, I accidentally cracked the micro SD card, so like just be warned that does happen. That's why I had to buy this, because originally I had a 32 gig and like then I had a 64 gig. I cracked that and now I have to redo it again on this. You're going to plug your micro SD card in. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is go ahead and plug this into a power cable. Also, in case you have any questions, like it's not working, you can go ahead and message me on my Discord, which is available if you click my channel. If you click on my profile, go to about, and then links there. It should say my Discord server. So let me just Alexa, turn on my server. Okay, so my Raspberry Pi is on. Let's go back to this. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is give it a bit to load, but while we do that, what I'm going to do is go to my router settings. So that's 192.168.0.1 for me, but if you want to know what yours is, just go ahead and open a terminal window. No, wait, what is it? Oh, ipconfig. And then look at your IPv4 address here. So it says 192.168.0. So you want to look at these first three, which is 192.168.0, and you're gonna want to add .1 to the end of that. So 192.168.0.1. So let me put my password in. Also, just if you don't want to go through all this, just give like your Raspberry Pi some time to boot up. But I like to use this method to just like make sure it's actually online. Okay, so we look at my connected devices. So just hit connected devices, or like your routers obviously can be different, but I'm sure you'll be able to find it if you just keep looking around. So there we go. So I see mine up there, Pi. Okay, my camera is out of battery, so for the rest of this we're just gonna hide this. So I can see Pi is there, which means it worked properly. Okay, so here's how we're gonna find out the IP address of the device. You're gonna type in ping and then whatever you wrote the name as, so Pi, and then it should say pinging whatever .local with 32 bytes of data, reply. Okay, so just copy this in, and you want to write SSH, whatever username you wrote, so Ubuntu for me, and then at this. Now, this command may not work for you, so here's what you're gonna have to do. So you want to go to settings, you're gonna want to go to apps, and then go down to optional features, and then open SSH client. So you're going to want to go ahead and click install. It should ask you to give permissions for that, and it should allow you, but obviously I already have mine installed. So just go ahead and enter this and hit enter, and it should hopefully work. Yep, the first time you connect, it will say this key is not known by any of the names. Are you sure you want to connect? So you're going to want to obviously say yes and go ahead and hit enter. I think I've forgotten the password. Unless it's... Oh, I know what it is. Basically, I've misspelled Ubuntu, so spell it properly. So go ahead and actually spell it properly. Then we'll put in the password, which is hopefully right. Nope, alright. Okay, if you've done this and you've forgotten your password, you're gonna have to reflash the SD card, which is amazing. So I'm gonna quickly do that and I'll be back. And then, okay, so what we're gonna do, just again, ping pi. So yeah. Also, just something to tell you, like you saw before, I'd copy this address, but because we've already set it with a local name, what we should be able to do on our home network is go ahead and do SSH to ubuntu, and then instead of the IP address, we can just type pi, and that should work. Yep. Can't be established, but obviously we know it's our device, so we're going to go and click yeah, type yes. Now put in the password, which hopefully I won't forget this time. There we go. Alright, so immediately you can see we've logged in, and if we go ahead and type ls, and like there's nothing here. We are in /home/ubuntu. So like, as you can see, we have our user completely done, and we're working on the machine, and we have a remote connection to it. That's pretty much it so far, because now we have a remote connection and we didn't plug anything else except SD card and a power cable to the Raspberry Pi. Just before we go, just type UFW status. Sudo UFW status. And then put in the password, which was... Okay, if it says status inactive, so let me just explain. UFW it stands for uncomplicated firewall. So even if you're on your home network, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So just go ahead and enable this firewall. You want to type sudo UFW enable. So what it says, command may disrupt. So just N. Okay, so I'm lucky I didn't do that. Basically, what this does is turns on firewall and it stops all connections to the Raspberry Pi, which obviously isn't good for us since we're running this headless. It will disrupt our SSH connection as well. So how you're going to want to go past this is sudo UFW add and then SSH. Sorry, not add, allow. So allow SSH. So now we can do sudo UFW. How do I show sudo UFW enable? So obviously we've allowed SSH, so this shouldn't disrupt the connection. Yep, there we go. So we should still be able to work. Yep. So that's how you set up a firewall as well. And I think that's pretty much it for today's video, because I think next week or next video I'll show you how to set up like a web server on this, just an uncomplicated one. But yeah, just before the video ends, just wanted to let you know, if you want to straight away get into doing something with your new Raspberry Pi that's set up, one thing you can do is go ahead and set up a Minecraft server with Forge, which is like a mod like thing, so it allows you to add mods to your Minecraft server. And if you want a video tutorial on how to do that, go ahead and click here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment, because it really helps out engagement. So if you have a couple seconds, just type something in the comments and I'd really appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching. See you next time.